Hey guys, it's me Lukis and welcome to another video. Today I will teach you how to make a real guitar with stock plugins in FL Studio. So maybe you are producing a song right now and you have reached a point where you would really like this good guitar sound. But you don't have any sound within your music program and you don't want to spend money on expensive plugins. I remember when I started producing that I also had this problem and I kind of found a way around the problem. I want to teach you this solution today and I will show you why this is the best one when you don't want to spend any money. We are using FL Studio for this specific tutorial, but I think if you know where your sound are located in, for instance, Ableton or Logic, you can also follow this tutorial. And if you like this tutorial, subscribe and ring the bell if you want more of this in the future. And then let's get into it. Okay, so the problem was that we don't have any good guitar sounds and we don't want to spend money on expensive plugins. But before we can make a guitar sound, we need to understand how a guitar is played in the real world. For instance, I know how to play piano, but I don't know how to play guitar, but I still need to understand how a guitar works. So let's just look at some stuff. So a guitar consists of high frequencies, mid frequencies and low frequencies. And this is very crucial to understand how a guitar sounds. When we combine these three areas of the spectrum, we get this fully mixed guitar that we need to work with. As I mentioned before, we also need to understand how the guitar is played to make the sound realistic. We can play the guitar from up to down. For instance, we have our hand at our chest and we play it towards our knees. We can also play it from down to up, where we have our hands at our knees and play it towards our chest. We also have the option of playing melodies. So this is what I see when I look at someone playing guitar, even though I don't know how to play the guitar. So we need to have something to work with, and this is what we have. So when you learn how to make this realistic guitar, you will have an advantage when you produce music. Because you can make a guitar without spending money on plugins. And you can also make a guitar which you can adjust in any way you like. Okay, so how do we solve this problem? I will be using the plugin called Plugged and I will be using the plugin called Direct Wave, both within FL Studio already. If you're using another music program, you can follow the sounds and find these sounds in your own music program, but the mixing will be the same. So I will be dividing this tutorial into a simple and advanced tutorial. Everything in this video. So the problem is that we don't have any guitar sound. We want to solve this problem and we want to benefit from it. I would like to solve this problem by using layering in FL Studio. In this way, we can make the guitar very easy. Okay, so now I will show you how I solve this problem. I will be using the chords from Avicii's Wake Me Up because I think a lot of producers know this song. If you have your own chords, you can just use them, but if you don't, you can just copy these chords right here. And the BPM is set to 124 if you use these chords. So, the first thing we will do is to find our Direct Wave plugin. So you go to Packs, you go to Instruments, you go to Guitar, and then we have this classical acoustic from Direct Wave. We will drag this into our channel rack just like this, and you will get this plugin. Then we will also find the plugin called Plugged right here, and we will find the plugin called Layer. We will now assign the classical acoustic to channel number 1 and Plugged to channel number 2. And let's just color these, for instance, red, so we know what we are working with. Okay, so now we want to layer our guitar. Do you remember that I talked about the low, mid and high frequencies? This guitar has the low and mids, and this has the high. So we want to be able to play these two at 1. So we take out the layer, do it like this, and say set children, and turn the volume all the way up. So now if we play the layer, we will play both at the same time. It still sounds awful. So now we want to make another channel called guitar 1. And we want to take both of these and route it to this track only. So now when we play the classical acoustic and the plucked, it comes out of this channel only. So what we want to do next is to use the chords that I showed you earlier. So we want to copy these chords, copy paste, into the layer piano roll. So now it sounds like this. It still sounds so bad. So as I mentioned earlier, we will be making the Avicii Wake Me Up, and I will be making the intro. And the intro goes like this. We will take the first 3 chords and drag them together like this. And the first 3 bass notes like this. Copy them, and I think right here. Yes, and let's take these 3 and drag them out. And we will copy them. And do like this, I guess. Then we will take these bass notes, drag them together like this. And then we will take the lower note of each of these 3 chords and just drag it one to the right. And then we want to make the last one right here. I think it goes like this. So now we have the intro to Avicii's Wake Me Up. So what we want to do next is to make the guitar sound. So let's start by take the plucked only and listen to this one. So now we have the plucked where it should be. And then let's turn it all the way down and then only listen to the classical acoustic. This sounds fine to me. So then we turn the plucked on and slowly raise the bar until we have the fingernails hitting the strings of a guitar. So there we go. Now we have our basic guitar sound. So now we want to adjust the sound. Remember how I talked about the way that you play a guitar from up to down and from down to up and melodies. We want to adjust that now. The way that we can adjust this is by going to the piano roll. So let's take a look at these 3 chords. We want to work with the 3 upper notes, the middle notes, and the bass notes, or at least the lower notes of the chords. If we assume that these 3 notes or chords are played from the chest and to the knees, we want to make sure that the highest notes is the most volumed notes also. And the middle notes goes a bit down, just like this, and the bass notes go all the way down, just like this. And then we get this feeling of that a real person is playing the guitar from his chest and to his knees. Then assume that these notes are played in the reverse way. So we have the bass notes being played first, you know, from the knees into the chest. So these want to be the highest volume notes, and the high notes want to be the low volume notes, just like this. So now we have kind of shaped our guitar to sound realistic. But there is more we can do. We can mix it, and we will do that right now. Okay, so now we want to mix our sound, and we want to make sure that all of our sounds are coming out of bus channel number 3, this one. And they do. So let's start by equalizing both sounds separately. So let's start by the classical acoustic, and we will find an equalizer. And we will make a high and low cut. And you just want to remove everything you can't hear. So just at the moment when you hear something, then you want to stop removing stuff. And then we want to find the bad place in the mix. Right here. And then we want to go down a bit. And then we want to find the sweet spot. Right here, I guess. So now we have equalized the classical acoustic. Now we want to do the exact same thing with the plucked. We will find a high and low cut, and we just want to remove everything up to around here, because we won't be able to hear it when we play the classical acoustic. Then we want to find a final equalizer on the bus channel number 3, and again we will be making a high and low cut. We want to find the bad place. And we want to find the sweet spot. And I think this sounds very good. So now we want to compress it. So we will take the fruity compressor. And I always set my ratio to 10:1 every time I start the compression. So now the sounds sound more glued together. And now we want to add some reverb. Let's take the reverb too. So now the simple part of the tutorial is done. So stick around to see the advanced one. So now we will be doing the advanced part of this tutorial. First of all, we will need another classical acoustic. And we want to assign that to mixer channel number 4. In another color. Let's just use this blue as FL Studio told me to. And then we will once again find plucked. We want to assign this to mixer channel number 5 in the same color. We will also need another layer, so we will just find that right here. And we will also be setting these two as the layer's children. and the volume all the way up, as we did on this one. So what we want to do now is to take the first classical acoustic, go to the little corner arrow and take the save preset and drag it to the other classical acoustic. And we will change the color back. So now we are sure that this classical acoustic sounds exactly like this one. We want to do the same with the plucked. Go to the plucked, the little arrowhead, save preset as, and drag it to the other plucked. So now we also want to change the color back. So now we are sure that all these plugins sound the same. Now we want to make another bus channel called Guitar 2, just like this. And I think we used this color. Then we want to take the 2 newly made instruments and route to this channel only. So now we have 2 guitars in our mix. Now we want to do the exact same thing in the mixer channel. We will find an equalizer on the classical acoustic 2, and we will find an equalizer on plucked 2. And on the bus channel, we will find the equalizer. We will also find a compressor. And we don't want to find the reverb. So from the first classical acoustic, we will take this one out here, and from the second, we will take this one out here. Then you want to drag, just as we did before, the preset onto this one. So now they are similar, and we want to do this as well with the plucked. Take the new one and take the old one. So now these presets are the same. We will do exactly the same thing with the bus channel. Take the old parametric EQ and take the new one. Then we will save preset as on this one. And we'll do the same with the compressor. This is the new compressor. This is the old compressor. And then we want to take the preset, drag it down. So now everything is the same. We want to delete the reverb from the first one, unless you want to use the simple part of the tutorial. But if you want to follow this tutorial from now on, just delete it. Then we want to add a final bus channel called all guitar, just like this. And now, and you need to listen carefully, we need to assign number 1 and number 2 to this channel only, just like this. So the first guitars are assigned to guitar 1, the second guitars are assigned to number 2, and number 1 and 2 are assigned to all guitar. Now we want to take the plucked copy value onto this one. So now everything is the same. So now the fun part comes in. Now we want to go to the first layer, and we want to take the 2 upper notes, just like this. And we want to copy them down to layer number 2. Then we want to go back and delete them from this part of the song. It should still sound the same. But now you can turn the high notes off. And the low notes can also be turned off. Now you can really play with the sound. So first of all, we'll go to guitar number 2, and we will find the stereo enhancer. So make sure to turn off the low notes from guitar 1, and then we want to make this sound like coming from both left and right ear at the same time. And then we will take another stereo enhancer and decrease it, the stereo width just a bit. And now if we play everything at once, it sounds amazing. We can also decrease the stereo width even more. So what I would like to do next is to go to the first guitar, and I want to make this not in stereo, but I want to make it wider. So we want to go to the patcher plugin, just like this, and we will make it just a little bit bigger. So now we want to right click out here, add plugin, and we will find Fruity Balance. And we will find another Fruity Balance. Just like this. So we want to connect these to the From FL Studio. So it looks like this. Then we will right click within the yellow circle, add plugin, and we will find the EQ. We'll do this on both of them. And then we will route this back to FL Studio. And then you will make sure to turn off guitar 2, so we can only hear the guitar 1. Then we will take one of the balance all the way left and the other one all the way right. What you can do now is to take the first EQ and adjust the second EQ. So now the sound sounds wider. This is with and without. It sounds more present. And if we add the guitar number 2, so the final thing we need to do is to go to the all guitar bus and mix this one. So first of all, we will take a compressor and again set the ratio to 1 or to 10 to 1. Then we will take another equalizer. We will make a high and low cut. And now we want to add some reverb. And now we have made our guitar. Okay guys, so a quick recap. The way you solve this problem is by know how a guitar works and how the frequencies behind the guitar works. And then you want to make some different sounds to create the whole sound spectrum. Then you want to layer these sounds together, and then you actually are done. So now you can make this good guitar without buying any plugins. It might take a little extra time, but it is totally worth it because most guitar plugins, the good ones, cost around 100 to 200 euros each. So thanks for watching. Comment down below if you have any suggestions, any comments, or any questions. And yeah, I will be looking forward to see you again in the next video. Bye bye.